And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the WardiTV Monday number 18 semi-finals. We've reached here the top 4 of the tournament, and we have our initial semi-finalists ready for us. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo-Violet Square, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, also from South Korea. It is Dark. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Happy. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, I know that Dark has been the favorite player for the past couple of rounds, but I would say coming into this, herO is the slightly favorite player here. These two face off many times. They face many times in their careers, of course. herO does have a winning record, especially in recent years, but they do go back and forth. Especially in a best of 3. It's going to be a hard call. I can see this going either way. Personally, I would love an ace match. I would love a game 3 here between these two, but it comes down to our two players. Comes down to Dark and herO. For now, welcome one and all to Neon Violet Square. I'm a little bit shocked to see the largest map in the map pool. A little bit shocked, a little bit in awe. herO going for the gate expand, Dark back at home going hatch gas pool. Standard openers all around. But again, this map is known for late game. It's known for turtle play, for secure 3, 4, 5 bases into the late game, into Sky Toss, for example. So I'm not entirely certain how this is going to play out. On the one hand, it does favor that kind of style, you know, embracing a later game composition. But Dark isn't really one to embrace the late game too often. If he can end the game early, he will. So I'm feeling something more aggressive here. We'll see. We'll see what Dark goes for. My eyes are on the Zerg. But now herO just being as annoying as possible, forcing some inefficient mining. Stark is settling in, saturating his bases. Does saturate his bases. Back at home is going to be a Stargate opener out of herO. Stargate opening into an Oracle. So far, everything looks standard. I know that herO has the reputation of being aggressive. That is true. He's known for his micro, known for aggressive builds. But herO, more often than not, can play standard. He can just triple Oracle into +1 and Blink, into a third, into a fourth, into Sky Toss. Like herO, he's more than willing to embrace that. Which is why my eyes are mainly on Dark here, as the third is on the way. Throws down the third base. Joining up his bases. Is saturating. And Dark, he does dip in here for a scout, does get eyes on the tank. Dark, he sees, does get eyes on the Stargate and the first unit of choice. Dark, he is aware of the Oracle. So with this Dark, he should be getting his Queens ready. Queens will be getting in position and soon followed by the Spores. Oh, as it does get not quite a drone. Quick morph in here from Dark, does save the workers. They do survive. And herO is deflected. Is going to be deflected. Back across the map. First Oracle moves out. herO is going for his third base. Third base at the pocket location. Interesting. Again, this is one of the big features of Neo Violet Square is the pocket base. A very free expansion. Has less minerals, but still has 2 gases. So still quite valuable gas-wise. Forge gets thrown down for +1, and we should soon be seeing that Twilight Council as well. As herO pokes in. Going for some of the larva, looking to deny the Overlord, and it looks like he will. Yeah, the Overlord is cancelled. Larva as well. Nice damage. There's that Twilight Council for herO. Should be +1 and Blink. I can't imagine he's going to be going for a charged build on Neon Violet Square. It just doesn't really feel like the most ideal build for a larger map. So I'm leaning towards Blink. Now the first Oracle is joined by a second. That's going to be a 4-minute 30 layer timing here for Dark. Oh, as the Oracles do overextend and they take a lot of hits, they take a lot of damage. Alas, no Spore here at the third. He gets 1, he gets 2 drone kills. The Oracles, they get away. And herO, not too bad. I mean, he does take a lot of hull damage, which isn't worth it necessarily, but does get some workers, does at least preserve the Oracles, does get out. And based on this faster lair, this looks like Ling Hydra. Either Ling Hydra or Ling Muta. The reason for this, again, 4-minute lair timing is very early. On top of that, no Roach Warren. No Roach Warren, Evo Chamber into plus on melee into Ling Hydra instead. Does look like Dark is skipping tech, and it makes sense to skip tech here on Neo Violet Square because you don't expect the need for Roaches. Roaches are ideal against a charge-based opener, as we were alluding to earlier. Because the map is so large, charge isn't really as viable. Same with Glaive Adepts, so instead, Blink. Blink is on the way. And as if on cue, plus on melee and the Hydra Den. So again, Ling main Hydra here out of Dark into eventually Lurker tech. From the side of herO, I was a little bit shocked to see his poke at third base because I do think he could have gotten away with a standard third instead. So his economy is going to be a little bit lackluster, but he is now taking a fourth, and the fourth base should be secure. Could have gotten this expansion sooner is what I will say, but regardless, is taking it. We can see herO taking up even further, going for the Bay, going into Colossus, not in the sky just yet. Likewise, Dark double expanding, going for the fourth and going for the fifth as well. So again, both players are embracing their greed, they're embracing their macro, and we're headed into the mid game. So we are rushing into said mid game. And we'll see if Dark takes up. What I mean by that, if Dark cuts workers here, then he may just go purely Ling Bane Hydra and move out on Lair Tech. Otherwise, if he does drone up a little bit further, if he takes extra gases, then Dark, he can afford an Infestation Bit, a Hive, and a Lurker Den as well. So we'll see if Dark takes that extra step and heads towards Hive and Lurker. For now, just Ling Hydra. Oracles, they dip in. Taking a lot of hits. Take a lot of damage. Rocks are being knocked down, and I don't really see much droning going on. Still sticking to 74. And here comes Dark. Dark, he knocks down the rocks. He's massing up purely Ling Hydra, as we did mention. Dark, he's going for almost a pseudo all-in here, as again, he is choosing not to tech up, not to take gases, not to drone, and not to head towards Hive. It's purely Ling Hydra or Ling Bane Hydra on Lair Tech. So very committed here from Dark. Again, borderline all in. And we'll see if herO can survive. herO back at home is massing up Colossus, throwing down stasis traps. Only has the one Colossus. Stasis does get baited out. Oh, that's a lot of Ling Hydra. Colossus doing what it can. No extend double lance. Doesn't have the range upgrade yet. Needs a little bit more time. Range is on the way. And Dark, he backs off. He backs off, and now he techs. After the push fails, I say fails, basically Dark, he doesn't feel confident. He moves out, sees the defensive setup, feels like he cannot break his opponent, and now he techs. And this is late. Late Infestation Bit, late droning, late Evo Chamber as well. So I would say that hero's in the better position. On the one hand, yes, Dark has a larger army, currently with more supply, but he's not doing anything with it. He has chosen not to do anything with it, as he doesn't feel that he can break his opponent. So Dark, now he's reinvesting into drones, now he's getting up to 80 workers, now another expansion into Infestation Bit, Hive Tech, Lurkers. All of this could have been thrown down sooner, like a minute or so sooner, instead of the investment into Ling Hydra like this. So I do give the edge to herO. Again, it's one of those things where Dark, he's maxed. Dark, he's maxed out, but he doesn't really have the ideal army. It still has potential, don't get me wrong. If hero's out of position, if he takes a bad fight, then Dark can still pop off. But Storm is finishing up. And pushing into this base is not really easy here for Dark. It's just very secure. Dark building on more Banelings. Getting into 2-1 upgrades. +1 range on the way. +2 melee. Now, the ideal situation with Dark is for herO to push into him. Like, Dark, he wants to fight on creep. Like, Dark cannot break this expansion, but he can fight the army and the open. So, risky maneuver here by herO. Is moving out. He does have 2 Eye Templar with the main army, and I believe 2 Eye Templar in the War Prism as well. So, 4 Storms at least. And here comes Dark collapsing on those Stalkers. Nice blink. Okay, very nice blink. Does a shade or does blink away. Baits out the stasis. And massive stasis on the army. It's a good start for herO, but merely only a good start for now. He has yet to really trade with the army. Dark now morphing in Lurkers. Dark, he's bought enough time. Stasis runs out. Dark over the storm. We have some okay storms. One Knight Templar goes down. It's okay. Hero now taking it to Sky Toss. Fleet Beacons on the way. And Dark trying to set up the surround. Getting ready for a flank. Here he does attack with the Stalkers. He pulls away with his main army. Dark looking to collapse in. And he's going for it. He goes to the dive. Sets up with the surround. How good are the storms? And not too bad. Storm's ace turned away. One storm left. Massive connection. Lingbane does crumble. And the Colossus stands strong. Very nice fight for Hero. Hero, he's still maxed out. Dark force back. How many lurkers does Dark have? 2. Only 2 lurkers. 2 more on the way. 4 in total. The base, it should fall. I don't see Dark holding onto it. The goal base, it does crumble. Lurker as well, down to 3 lurkers. And with only 3 lurkers, I mean, Hero, he can just keep pushing. As long as he has detection. That's the big problem here. No observer. Sorry, there is an observer. There is an observer with the main army. Hero doesn't quite commit. Pulls away, rotates around. Motherships in production. Second Stargate as well. Getting to carry our Tempest. Where are the storms? 0 storms with the army. Risky. Very risky. Training out the Zealots, throwing them away. Clearing out more creep. And here he has no intention to fight. He's denied the expansion, that's all he wanted. From here he backs off and he's making 3 Tempests at a time. So here he's in control. He's in control right now. Getting to Tempest. Dark, he was barely holding on. Now double expanding. Taking the gold base and the southern base at the same time. And Dark is still not quite at the ideal Hydra Lurker Viper army. I mean, I just mentioned something. Vipers, there are none. Without Vipers, there's no secure way to deal with these high-tech units. The Colossus, the Tempest. The Immortals as well. Hero moving in. Once again, threading the main army. Dark knocking down those rocks, gaining access to the gold. Hero is getting in position. And Dark, he wants that gold base. And again, there's no storms. Despite that, Hero, he does hold. There are storms not coming in. Or High Templar, I should say. Dark going for a massive Lingbane counterattack. He's going for the mineral line. And there's no warping, there's no reaction. Massive connections. Probes are going down. Takes down a mineral line. At the same time, pushing in towards the gold. But Hero's ready for this. Hero, he's in position. Bailings, they make their way towards High Templar. They do not connect. Hero holds. Did lose 20 workers in the process, and we have a Night Storm into the main. Hero, he does hold. He can take a fight head on. Does he react? No warpins back at home. He doesn't see. Links into the mineral lines. Forced to warp in. Hero, he's focusing on his push. And there's potential here for Dark. As Dark back at home, he's in a bit of trouble. There's only a handful of lurkers. But there we go. Night Swarms are finishing up. Lings, they flood in. And Hero, he turns everything back around. Will kill the expansion, or at least he should. But he's forced back home. Probes are folding as well. Dark buying a lot of time. If it wasn't for all these Night Swarms, Dark, he may just be dead. To be honest, I don't think he could have stopped the main army. But he may have just died then and there. Alas, he forces back the army, he buys time, takes out the robo. And now Dark can recover. He can keep up. Morphing in more lurkers, taking the gold base. Killing 17 probes. Hero's down to 38 workers, barely an economy. But Hero's making 5 probes at a time. Another Nidus. Hero, we gotta respond. Okay, he does. This time he does. Catches the Overseer. Night Storm as well. Hero pushing out once again. And just like previously, Dark can't really engage with this main army. It's not going to happen. Dark has to avoid the fight. As he cannot fight this head on. Not with this kind of army, not like this. Nice gets caught. Bailing around back here towards the gold. And the reality is that even if Dark kills this mineral line, I think we can just A-move. I'll be honest. Dark, again, he's just going for mass counterattacks. He knows he cannot fight this. Go base goes down. Hero turns back around. He's racing back home. Bailings are rolling in. Going for the stack defense. They take down the cannons. Lings, they run into Archons. Oof. And A-probes go down. Gold base is under fire. The gold base is under fire. The lurkers are exposed. Here comes the Tempest army. Uh-oh. And Dark has to get out of here. He cannot fight this. Oh no, he's going to try to stand and fight. He gets the Stalkers, but the main army is going to fall. Tries to pull away. Nidus does complete. Let's go. Dark popping in. Going from Nidus to Nidus. The planet planetary. The Nexus does hold. And here he will defend. We'll clean this up. Dark has to get the hell out of here. As the army does race back. Will get the kill on the Nexus. At the same time, Dark rally reinforcements, kills both bases. But this is where the supply doesn't lie. As we've been saying, for the past like 3-4 minutes, Dark could never fight the main army. He could never fight the main army, and that is still true. That is still the case. Even though he's killing base after base, mineral line after mineral line, like really good hit and run tactics here out of Dark. But the reality is, even though Hero's supply blocked, Dark, he's down in supply. He's down in army, he doesn't really have much to work with. If this army pushes out, Dark cannot stop it. The best chance for Dark to win this game, base trade. Base trade is the only option. And that's why Darky just keeps rallying everything across up. He knows that the base trade is the only way. But here he stays back home. Dark is attempting to double expand, trying to get his economy up and running. Lings, they sip into the bases. And you can see here, he's so frustrated. Like, he just wants to push. He just wants the A move. And there we go. This time here, he leaves some supply back at home. He shuts down the harassing force. And here comes herO. Is pushing through. Activating Cloak. Taking his time, waiting for his reinforcements. And how many Tempests does he have? 5. 5 Tempests against 11 Lurkers. The goal base, once again, should be shut down. herO, some delicate micro here pushing forward. Wants to make sure he stays spread, reducing splash damage. Slow zone on the Lurkers, there's no escape. GG gets called as herO snowballs out of control as he finally moves out. And herO takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played again. For the past 5 minutes, Dark could never engage with the main army. Dark, he was behind, if you remember. A lot of the game was, in a way, determined by Dark's decision to delay his tech. If you remember, Dark, he chose to commit. He cut workers at 74. I think it was like 73 or 74 drones, just under 4 base saturation. He had cut workers. He had committed into Ling, Bane, Hydra. And then he backed off. If you remember, he delayed everything. He delayed his hive, his infestation with his lurker den, his upgrades, his second evo chamber. He didn't have any of it set up because he was committed on a like 3.5 base all in. herO defended, Dark backed off, and Dark fell behind. He fell behind from that moment, so he had to play catch up tech wise. And with that, he was never really able to build up a formidable enough army to face off against herO. He was just stuck on a very heavy Lingbane Hydra army, very few lurkers. If you remember, with the first push when herO moved out, there were only 2 lurkers. Only 2 lurkers to defend, eventually 4 lurkers, and it just was not enough. From there, herO took a lead and just snowballed out of control. GG, well played. And we'll see if Dark has a different approach coming into game number 2 as we load into King's Cove. Let's go. It's one of those things where at this level of play, if you're committing to an all-in, if you're committing to aggression, and if it doesn't pay off, like, you do fall behind. Do fall behind, and it can be difficult to recover from that kind of game state. So we'll see where we head this time. As we're getting into game 2, loading into another large map. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. Representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back, and we'll see if we can force the ace match. It is Dark. That's all I want out of this. All I want is an ace match, is a game 3, but the pressure is on the Zerg. And welcome one and all to King's Cove, a large map of the map pool, very defendable on 3 bases, but the 4th base is more vulnerable and more exposed compared to Neon Violet Square or Abyssal Reef, for example, the other larger maps of the map pool. So because of that, what I will say is that if Dark wants to be aggressive like he was last game, if he wants to commit on a 74 drone count, like max out of Lair Tech army of Lingbane Hydra, I do think that is more effective here on King's Cove. This is also where I have to criticize Dark a little bit of choosing that build on Neon Violet Square. I don't think the map is really too conducive to that, just because of how defendable the 4 and 5 base setup is. Here it's different. Here the bases are more exposed. They're on the low ground. They're out in the open. A multiple attack paths here into the center expansion. Same can be said here towards the northern 4th base as well. So I do think that Dark can be more successful here. But the problem is, because Dark went for that build last game, because he was hyper aggressive on 3.5 bases, or just under 4 bases, then here he's already on notice, right? He's already aware of that potential, of that aggression, and herO should be looking out for that here in game 2 as well. So we'll see what Dark goes for. We shall see. From here, we are getting to our take of choice. The pylon is done, Cybercore as well, and show us what you got. As there it is. Stargate has been placed. It's going to be a standard Stargate opener out of herO. herO is looking hot AF these days, beating Serral and Dark convincingly. It's one of those things where, I mean, this has been the case for a very long time, for maybe a year, maybe more than a year. herO has the best PvZ in the world. It has been better than MaxPax for a long time. That has always been MaxPax's weak point, is PvZ. MaxPax, I would say he has the best PvP in the world, and he has very competitive PvT. I think PvT is like very stylistic between MaxPax and herO, but that's where they differ. Where MaxPax is like the king of PvP, and herO is like the king of PvZ. Like this is where herO thrives. This is where he thrives. You could also argue that a reason for that, it might have to do with the same reason why MaxPax's PvT is so good, is because he plays it so often, right? Like, if you're familiar with the online tournament circuit, you would know that MaxPax and Clem, they play a lot, right? They play so much in the online tournament scene, especially during the EPT on season, right? With EPT Americas, EPT Europe as well. They would play week after week after week. When it comes to herO, his rival, his version of Clem as an opponent, was Dark. Like, herO and Dark, they would play in every ESL Cup Asia, every KSL, every online tournaments that was more Korean focused, herO and Dark would play. So they got a lot of practice together, and as a result, herO did benefit quite heavily from it when it comes to his PvZ. So it's a similar kind of, like, I guess, outcome and similar kind of setup here to MaxPax and Clem, with them improving their matchup as well. It also might be as to why MaxPax's PvZ is weaker, is because the reality is when it comes to European Protoss, as we're popping up, this is hyper aggressive, by the way, but to finish that thought, but when it comes to European Protoss, we talk about it all the time, but a lot of the European Zerg players, when it comes to a lot of the European Zerg players, they're very inactive. When it comes to online tournaments, Laser very rarely competes, Lambo very rarely competes, and Raynor and several never compete, right? So the top European Zergs, they're not very active in the online tournament circuit, not as much as others, of course. So that may be as to a bit of a reason as to, you know, why MaxPax is maybe a little bit weaker in that matchup. We need the European Zergs to be more active, fam. Yeah. As it is going to be, again, a gateway explosion into Glaive Adepts. Let's go. So standard opener into a 3rd base into hidden Glaive Adepts. So the goal here is to catch Dark off guard. And Dark, I believe he is skipping roaches. Yes, there is no roach one, but there is a Baneling Nest. It is possible to defend with Ling Bane. It is more difficult, but it is possible here. We'll see if Dark can pull this off, as the initial wave of Adepts have yet to arrive. We have 3 Adepts. They're just poking in. Everything's looking normal. But more Adepts, they're banking up back at home. And again, the Baneling Nest is going to finish up just in time. And ideally, the Banelings, they want to be keeping up with the shades of the Adepts. Hydrogen on the way. No Bailings yet. And again, there's no reason for Dark to morph in Bailings until he feels threatened. And so far, he has seen nothing. Dark is in the dark. He doesn't know what's going on. And now he finally sees the Adepts. Now he knows. And now we need Bailings. We need Bailings as soon as possible. Dark, he pulls away. There we go. 8 Bailings morphing in. But is it too late because the Adepts, they're here. The Adepts, they shade in. The Bailings aren't already. Queen's under fire. Diving on the Queens. Queens, the first one goes down. He gets 1. He gets 2. Yeah, 2 Queens do fall. Gets a 3rd Queen as well. Shades past the army into the mineral line. Oh, damage is being done. 10 drones already going to be falling. Nice spread here from herO. Does pull away. Bailings, they crash into some Adepts, but that's not good enough. Yeah, not good enough. And herO looks like he has done it. He's just pulling Dark apart. This is game-winning damage. 19, 21 drones falling. And Dark, he was caught with his pants down. GG gets called. herO will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. herO snowballs out of control. He will take the series. Again, Dark, he had no idea what was happening. He was denied the scout. He skipped his Roach Warren because he believed he could. Dark, he was going Lings into Hydras. Did have a safety Bailing nest, but as you saw, he didn't morph in Bailings until it was too late, until the army was already in his face, in his base. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations here to herO as he does advance on to the grand finals, where he's going to be facing off against the winner of the upper semifinals. And we are getting ready for that match, for that series, as we head on over to the American server. And we can find out why. !B in the chat. !B in the chat. To have a look at the back yourselves.